What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the ShowMeFootball.com podcast. And as everyone knows, the Chiefs defeated the Carolina Panthers 33-31 at home. The game was a lot closer than it needed to be, I feel like, and just a lot of things to criticize, but a lot of things to like too. So, joined by Connor as always. And as always, I'm going to ask you, what are your initial thoughts from today's game?
I thought we played down to our competition, and for the majority of the game looked pretty terrible. And I think it's a miracle that we still won.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, I feel like that's where we have to start. They just did not look very good, honestly. Like, in the end, they won us the game. But the thing is, there were things from the offense and just other factors from the game that if they were to do well, Harrison Butker, then the game wouldn't have come down to that. But the Chiefs, they allowed the Panthers to have 435 yards of total offense, and they won the time of possession game. I'm pretty sure. I don't have the exact number in front of me. But they had 331 pass yards and 104 rushing yards on us. Christian McCaffrey just kind of tore us up all day. But one thing I didn't like was pass rush was not really there at all. Even on the blitzing, I mean, they blitzed so many times today. They just kept blitzing and blitzing and blitzing, and they were not hit home. Middle of the field was wide open. You see guys like Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore just tearing us up all game.
Yeah, I mean, the defense, I hate comparing it to the 2018 team, but it kind of reminded me of the 2018 team. And one of the things that really frustrated me this game is because we always talk about how Chris Jones is a game wrecker. He has the ability to drive the center into the quarterback and just completely screw up the play. He was not doing that today. I don't know if it's because he was on was he on the injury report or did he have Rona? I can't remember which one it was. But for some
both,
reason,
actually, I believe. I think it was both. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, kind of a rough.
Yeah, so he probably wasn't 100%. I think he technically got a cleanup sack, but it's really nothing to write home about. Our only real sack was a coverage sack by Frank Clark, and that was the only pressure we really got to the quarterback. The secondary held up, but the pass rush just was not good at all, and neither was the run defense.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more. I have a lot to say about the defense, but yeah, Frank Clark, he finally does something after several weeks of being MIA. So, cool, I guess. His only pass rushing move seems to be try to run around the tackle and beat him, and that's just never going to work. But the secondary you mentioned, I thought they held up okay. Charvarius Ward, though, he had a couple nice PBUs, I believe, but he also had a really ugly penalty, and he just clearly regressed this year. And I think when Snead comes back, which should be after the Snead was active at practice this week, and he should have this week to rest, which means I expect him to be active by their next game. And when that happens, I think Ward is going to get benched for Snead, and your starting corners will be L'Jarius Snead, Bashaud Breeland, and then a little bit of Fenton.
Yeah, I really like Fenton in the slot. I think he made a decent tackle, but I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. But
yeah, he did.
Really, you didn't hear anything else about him, which is a good thing. Ward got picked on quite a bit, and he broke up a few passes, but other than that was pretty pedestrian. And I don't remember hearing Breeland's name at all, which is a good thing in the secondary. I know they tried to pick on Tyron a lot.
Bashaud had one play that he looked kind of silly trying to tackle Christian McCaffrey, but that happens to about 90% of people in the league. So Bashaud Breeland's typically a good tackler, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But the thing is like this team just kind of let them march down the field over and over again. And what kind of annoyed me is just the lack of competence on trying to get them off the field a lot of the time. Panthers, they were 7 of 16 on third down, which is okay. Not great, but definitely not bad. But besides that, they were 3 of 3 on fourth down, and you definitely don't want to see that because once you do that, you open the floodgates of aggression from the other team when you give them the comfortability of just going for it on fourth down over and over again. You saw it with like the onside kick and stuff. Now, they didn't get the onside kick, but the fact they felt comfortable attempting it tells you a lot, I feel like. But one of the things that really got on my nerves was I think it was like 4th and 15 or 4th and 14 or something, and just the whole defensive line forgets how to tackle. No defensive backs are even there to tackle Teddy Bridgewater. He just runs freely for a first down. Ben Neiman was the first tackler to get to him, and well, when Ben Neiman is your primary tackler, not going to end well.
Yeah, the linebackers were just terrible today. Once again, Daniel Sorensen was the team leading tackler. He's consistently been the team leading tackler for several weeks, I feel, so that's something that I feel is not talked about enough. But typically you want your middle linebacker to be your leading tackler, and if it's a safety / sub linebacker guy, that's not a good thing. The linebacking play was just poor today, to say the least.
Yeah, but one thing I did notice was Willie Gay was in there a lot and made some nice plays, but every time he seems to make a good play, there's a flag negating it, so that sucks. But yeah, Dan Sorensen has actually had arguably the best year of his career this year.
Yeah, he's been very solid. And as for Willie Gay, I still have faith that Willie Gay is going to be a good player, and he shows flashes, but the truth is he's just not quite there yet.
Yeah, I think it's just all part of learning. Because the thing is, what you notice is, like, there was one play, Christian McCaffrey, he had a short run, and it was because Willie Gay blew up one of the blocks on that run, and that was one play I noticed. Like, he definitely has the physical ability. It's just his mentals that need to get there. But that's pretty much all my general thoughts on the defense. And we really don't bring this up much unless we have to, but we have to today. The special teams. Harrison Butker missed a 47-yarder and then also missed an extra point, which really was why the Panthers even had a chance at the end. I'm tired of having to bring up his misses every week, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like he could be on fraud watch, if you will, especially with former Chief Ryan Suckup doing well in Tampa Bay. And I'm just really concerned about these misses. However, I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because I believe it was really windy. So, and we also saw Mahomes missing a lot of throws that he really shouldn't. So I guess if you want, you can chalk the poor passing game and poor kicking game up to the wind, but it's still mildly concerning either way.
Yeah, the thing is, somebody said on Twitter, whenever I was talking about it, they were like, oh, he made a 55-yarder. Come on now. I was like, okay, well, if you make a 55-yarder, what does it matter if you miss all the other ones? Like, he's still dead last in point after attempt success rate. Like, I mean, cool, he made a 55-yarder, yeah, but like, you still got to make the other ones consistently, and he just hasn't. And, you know, like you said, I will give him the benefit of the doubt for right now just because of the bad weather and stuff like that. But still, this has been an ongoing issue, so definitely something to watch going forward. The offense, though, really, really slow starting out, but eventually they started hitting some throws a little bit more. Patrick Mahomes was 30 of 45 for 372 yards and 4 touchdowns. And before we get into more of the offense, I know you don't want to hear this because you know it's kind of a curse, but I think this game makes Patrick Mahomes front and center for MVP. I'm pretty sure he's been the best quarterback through 9 weeks, and it's really not close.
Whoopee. Can't wait to lose in the AFC Championship and or Super Bowl because of it.
Well, let's hope not. But if he manages to win an MVP and the Chiefs win a Super Bowl this year, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Patrick Mahomes easily has the best accolades ever to start a career. That would be 2 MVPs and 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl MVP, assuming he doesn't win another Super Bowl MVP. So that That's insane. And then another milestone Patrick Mahomes hit today. Seems like he's hitting a new one every week. 100th career touchdown in just his 3rd season. So that was crazy too.
Yeah, I believe, I might be wrong on this, but I believe the last MVP to win a Super Bowl was Kurt Warner.
Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So it's
back with the Rams.
Kind of a tall task.
Yeah. But hey, Mahomes, he's defied the odds before, so I wouldn't be too concerned. Here's one thing to point out about the offense today, though. Edwards-Helaire had 5 carries for 14 yards, 4 carries for 8 yards for Le'Veon Bell, and I'm not going to criticize either of the two, but I feel like it's more so the run blocking. They're just not getting very many holes, but this isn't a criticism to either one of them because they can still help out in the passing game too. So this doesn't really matter to me. But I feel like running downs are just a waste of a down at this point in the season. Like so many times, like run up the middle doesn't work. Run up the middle doesn't work. Incomplete pass, and that's the end of the drive. Like honestly, like I would just stop running the ball. Like it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I want to see Le'Veon get involved in the passing game more. Because when we signed him, one of the concerns that I voiced was the reason he was so good in Pittsburgh was because he had the ability to be patient and find the hole, and because he had guys like David DeCastro blocking for him. There's a big difference in what your running style is going to be when David DeCastro is blocking for you versus Andrew Wiley. You know, when you have Austin Ryder as your center, you're not going to have much time when you go up the middle. So, of course, you're going to get decked in the backfield. And I feel like we are misusing him at this point. I feel like we could probably, at this point, put some of the concerns that we have about, I feel like kind of the concerns we had about Shady last year could be applied to Le'Veon here. I just kind of feel like he's being misused, and I really want to see him be involved in the passing game because I think he is a much better receiver than Clyde, but he just does not have the blocking he needs to play to his full potential.
Yeah, and a way to fix that potentially is to sign Stefan Wisniewski, who, if any Chiefs fans missed it, just got waived by the Steelers this week. I don't know why, but if he's healthy, I would look into that ASAP.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Wiz last year, and I feel like he could definitely block more, especially considering the fact that they benched Daniel Kilgore for Austin Ryder. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, his blocking I stood out to me on a couple, or lack thereof, stood out to me on a couple plays today. And the thing is like he's actually been particularly good pass blocking. It's his run blocking that wasn't very good. He only allowed 1 pressure all season leading up to today's game. So that, I mean, like, I'm fine with it, but I'd rather have Kilgore in there for running plays. Like, you shouldn't have to be strapped to one starter for the entire game. Like, I'm okay with switching them out. Of course, you don't want to give them the indication whether you're running or passing by switching them out every time, because then it's just a dead giveaway to the defense. But still, I would like to get a good mix of both. But injuries, I wanted to get into those a little bit. So Mike Remmers went out with what was a rib injury, but came back in. I think he should be fine. He'll rest up during the bye week, and then after that, we'll get Mitchell Schwartz back as well. But we saw a little bit of Yasir Durant today, the former Mizzou O lineman that me and you are both a fan of. And besides the first play where he missed his block, I thought he looked pretty solid. So kudos to him for finally getting some time and looking good. But big injury today, obviously, is Taco Charlton, the defensive end who's impressed in limited playing time, fractured his leg, broke his leg. They said fracture, so I'm just going to assume like he broke his leg in some capacity. Fracture can mean a lot of things, but he'll go on IR. I don't know if you see him back this year, honestly. I mean, it depends on how bad it is, but that just sucks to see. And also, he also walked off under his own power with this leg that was supposedly fractured. Not sure. I mean, in hindsight, he shouldn't have walked on a broken leg, but I mean, I assume the trainer's just like, hey, are you okay to walk? And he'll be like, yeah, I don't need a card or nothing. But yeah, he'll go on IR. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on the injuries from today?
Well, obviously that leaves a really big hole. Do you really trust Mike Dana to be a every down pass rusher? We're probably going to see Tano Passanio get a lot of playing time now that Taco's gone. But immediately my mind goes to how are we going to patch that hole? And the first name that comes to mind for me is bring T Sizzle back to win another ring. I feel like losing Taco could be really comparable to when we lost, what was it, Okafor last year, the week before we signed T Sizzle.
Yeah, we lost the Okafor injury is what triggered us to make the move, but we also lost Agba. So just depth in general being depleted is the reason we signed him.
Yeah, if another DN goes down, I feel like Veach should really make a call to Terrell Suggs, see if he wants another ring.
Either him or Vic Beasley, who was recently released. I feel like there's still some upside there with him, but I would be okay with either move.
I don't know if T Sizzle still wants to play. I know he had interest in finishing his career with the Ravens, and they didn't want him to, so maybe he goes on another revenge tour and comes back to Kansas City and gets his third ring.
Yeah, potentially. But yeah, that's pretty much it there. Receiving wise, Travis Kelce with an amazing game, and he's having the best season of his career so far, but he had 10 receptions today for 159 yards. No touchdowns, but just was a huge factor in today's game.
Travis Kelce, I felt for the first half, was the only good player on the offense. Everyone else looked horrible, and even Mahomes looked terrible. He was overthrowing all his receivers, and Kelce bailed him out. And I feel like you could say this season, I know everyone's going to talk about Mahomes being MVP, but as of right now, the team MVP, I feel, is Travis Kelce.
Yeah, he's been great. And that play where he caught the ball and then stiff-armed Trey Boston into the ground and then ran another dude over, that was one of the best Kelce plays I've ever seen.
Yeah, this could probably be the best season of his career. I don't know stat-wise what his best career season is, or if he's anywhere near that, or going to be on pace to break any of his personal records or anything like that. But just from the eye test, I'd say this is probably the best football I've ever seen Travis Kelce play.
Yeah, I don't have his best season in front of me, but I do have his stats currently. He has 48 receptions for 610 yards and 6 touchdowns. So that's really, really good. And I think he's a top leading receiver in the AFC, if not the league. And he's a tight end. So that just goes to show how great he is.
Yeah.
But Tyreek Hill, if I can get back to it, he was kind of rough starting out, and him and Patrick weren't really connecting. But in the end, he finishes with 9 receptions, 113 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So really good game for both those guys. And then some other notable receivers, McCole Hardman, 3 receptions for 48 yards, and Demarcus Robinson had 3 for 34 and a touchdown. And then Clyde had 3 for 20 and a touchdown.
Yeah, I would really like to see Clyde get less of those receptions, and I want to see Le'Veon get those receptions. Le'Veon's 1 reception was a terrible screen pass where he had no blocking whatsoever, so that just lost him 5 yards. I really want to see him go out and play the receiver like he did in Pittsburgh, because he was one of the best wide receivers on Pittsburgh when he was out there, and that was a team that had really good pass catchers, and Le'Veon was still one of the best receivers when he motioned out. So I really want to see more of that. I'm tired of seeing Le'Veon essentially ran into the ground, and I guess you could say that Clyde's being ran into the ground too, but he's still getting more opportunities than Le'Veon, and I feel like eventually Le'Veon has to get a significant number of carries. And when he's gotten a decent amount of carries, he's looked pretty good, but that's only been one game. He didn't get too much against New York, and he hardly got anything against Carolina. So I really want to see more Le'Veon.
Yeah, and I really don't want to cherry pick and stuff and be like, why we should have gotten Le'Veon more involved. Like, I'm not going to complain as long as we win, but I thought it was kind of a crime to not use him more against the Jets and not at least get him a revenge touchdown or something like that. But it's whatever. And yeah, I mean, every time he's gotten the ball in open space, catching the ball, he's been really, really good. And all of them have gone for 10+ yards, except for that one little one they had today that he just had no shot on. But yeah, there's just no blocking for either of our running backs right now. But that's pretty much it. But another thing I wanted to highlight, well, it's not a highlight, it's more so of a criticism. Andy's play calling has just really, it really stood out to me today for bad reasons. That last drive where you had a chance to get a first down and put the game on ice, I mean, just a run up the middle, nothing, a read option that was blown up, and then one of the ugliest plays I've ever seen. They had like 5 guys lined up backwards, and then it ended up being a screen to Darrell Williams, of all people. I'm not sure what that was, and it almost cost us the game.
Yeah.
Oh, and not to mention, into the first half when they were trying to get one more score, and they had like 25 seconds on the play clock and 1 timeout, and Andy calls a timeout. That was hideous clock management.
Luckily, Matt Rule is a complete idiot. On his last drive, he attempted a 68-yard field goal. Those 68 yards. I might be off on that, but why? I think there was like 3 seconds left on the clock. You're not making a 68-yard field goal. What you do there is you call a Hail Mary and you hope that the Chiefs make contact with one of the receivers, so that's going to put you in field goal range. You don't kick it from like your own 15 or whatever he was on. I've never seen a dumber play call than that from anybody other than Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, whenever he tried out the Raiders for a 70-yard field goal back in the day. Yeah, this was a different situation, but yeah, that's a really funny analogy. But yeah, I mean, I would rather just go for the Hail Mary because at least you have some sort of chance. I mean, there's no chance that kick was going in on a windy day, so I mean, in the
I'm
end,
glad they did. The Chiefs' Twitter account tweeted "ball game" as soon as they trotted the kicking unit out there, because everyone knew it wasn't gonna go. So
yeah, I of course they're a little ahead of us, and whoever runs that account is probably at the stadium. But I remember seeing that, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I watched, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's not even close." So I don't know if the social media manager just guessed and said the game was over if they really were ahead. But yeah, the game was a lot closer than it had been. But luckily, we're heading into the bye. Everyone should healed up. You should get Sammy Watkins back. That's huge. You should get Schwartz back, and hopefully, just everyone will be healed up. Anyone who's banged up, but. Anything else you wanted to add?
Nope, that's about it. I am very excited to see Mitchell Schwartz come back, and that's about it.
All right, well, make sure you check out showmefootball.com, but that's all we have for today. I feel bad for that guy that